Technology is constantly changing where, what, and how we learn. But the classrooms of the future look very different than video calls.
AI personal tutors.
I'm Furry, your learning guide.
Virtual reality.
This is a digital replica of our real chemistry lab.
Gamified learning.
Games have the potential to re-engage with learning.
And smart robots are set to turn education on its head.
That's the right answer.
From design schools like this,
To a metaversity campus. And a virtual operating theater.
meet the innovators, educators, and inventors racing to bring the schools of tomorrow to the next generation. I'm Rahel Solomon, and this is The Next Frontier.
AI chatbots have taken the world by storm in recent months, raising big questions about safety and security, but also offering huge possibilities, especially in the field of education.
The world is now woken up to the fact that we have very powerful technology at our fingertips and that it has the potential to transform education.
University College of London professor Rose Luckin is a co-founder of the Ethical Institute of AI in Education. She has spent years researching this topic.
This is a watershed moment for education. We now know that AI is going to be part of our world, so we have to ensure that people are able to use it.
To do that, this Florida animation studio is creating a child-friendly AI chatbot in the form of a mythical creature called Furwy.
Hey there, I'm Furry, your learning guide.
Furwy is an interactive learning tool. So kids can actually speak and see the written words as they're speaking, which helps with phonetics, sentence structure, spelling, reading comprehension. And Furwy is driven by ChatGPT. So we took that amazing conversational model and then did some customization on it.
The technology behind AI chatbots can be used to power customized online personal tutors and teaching assistants. Additional safety features and characterization can then be added in an effort to make the tools more student and teacher-friendly. By training them to tutor subjects like math and language skills, the goal is to provide personalized, real-time feedback to help students learn more effectively. At a local school, Furwy is put to the test on its target audience, 3 to 7-year-olds.
Can you tell me more about dinosaurs?
Absolutely. Dinosaurs were a group of reptiles that lived between 65 and 230 million years ago.
So far, I've seen how the kids interact and how it asking questions and how it's responding. I see that Furry will be a great use for schools.
Do you have a girlfriend?
The potential for AI to produce incorrect, biased, or harmful content raises questions about whether this kind of technology is safe for young children unsupervised.
As a parent, I wouldn't allow my child to speak to somebody that I didn't know, and yet if I allow them to interact with any of these chatbots, that's precisely what I'm doing.
So let's see what Furries say.
Animatic media owner Scott Ownby says they've added content and profanity filters to keep Furwy safe for young children.
I think if it's done correctly, which is what we're attempting to do, the benefits outweigh the cons. The sooner we get kids introduced to this in a positive manner, the better, because it's just only going to progress the kids' ability to work in a future where AI is everywhere.
Hey there, did you know that you can learn a lot by asking questions?
Luckin says AI will not only change how we learn, but how we learn to think.
We want to educate people to be able to do the things the AI can't do, as well as some of the things the AI can do. No AI can reflect on its own thoughts. As humans, we can, and we can be really good at it.
Khan Academy is an educational, nonprofit, and free online learning platform with over 150 million registered users worldwide. Founder Sal Khan worked with ChatGPT creators, OpenAI, to develop an AI tutor for third grade and up that challenges students to think for themselves.
A lot of people know ChatGPT and they're afraid that it'll help kids cheat, etc. But Conmigo, our artificial intelligence, if a student says, give me the answer to this problem, first, it does have the context of the problem, which is kind of cool, but it won't just give you the answer. It'll say, hey, I'm here to be your tutor. Let's think about how you might want to approach that. What do you think the next step might be? So it really feels like while you're doing Khan Academy, you're chatting with an expert tutor.
Khan says this kind of artificial intelligence is going to be a game changer for education.
Conmigo has the potential of giving every student a one-on-one tutor and every teacher a teaching assistant. There's been many research studies since that have validated that if you get one-on-one tutoring, it dramatically can accelerate students.
Speaking of acceleration, what about concern from researchers and AI experts that this technology is moving too fast and could potentially be dangerous?
Oh, okay. I guess they told us.
I think we should try as hard as we can, and this is what we're doing at Khan Academy, to use it in a safe, ethical way for positive social purposes. I think that's our job.
Khan says they also have a number of guardrails in place to keep students safe, including flagging any concerning conversations to parents and teachers.
The ideal is that you have both the students and the human teacher are able to leverage the artificial intelligence. It acts as a teaching assistant, and it's going to allow the human being, the teacher, to do more human things. So I think the teaching job is one of the jobs that I am not worried about AI displacing.
Next, teachers and students take a trip to the metaverse to explore learning in another dimension. You've heard of the metaverse. Wow. Now welcome to the metaversity.
Welcome to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. I am Dr. Messina Morris.
Dr. Messina Morris is a Metaversity Director and Assistant Professor of Education at Morehouse College.
I actually am the first Metaversity Director to exist around the globe, and Morehouse College is the first Metaversity. We've been moving full steam ahead from 3 classes originally to now over 13 courses a semester.
A biomolecular chemist, Morris first started teaching in the metaverse in 2021 to try and keep students engaged during the pandemic. Metaversities are virtual interactive learning spaces based on real or imagined environments. To make a digital twin campus, modelers and designers use hundreds of images and geographic data to build the same environment in virtual reality. Teachers can customize their classrooms with extra features like 3D models or fantasy locations. Morris and Morehouse worked with educational virtual reality developers, Victory XR, on a custom-built digital twin campus.
This is the main quad where we have graduation.
The digital twin was really important for the work that we were doing simply because in so many times we offer software or these applications where Black young men don't see themselves reflected in that space. And having a digital twin for us means that they take more ownership and autonomy over being in that space and what they want it to look like.
When I first saw the Metaversity, my first impression was, oh my God, it was very surreal. Learning in virtual reality has been amazing. The things that I'm reading on the page, I can see them and really touch them in virtual reality. So it connects the dots for me.
As you see, this is a digital replica of our real chemistry lab. Really cool things we're going to show you right now.
Moore says practice in the virtual lab can help students perform better in the physical environment.
We have our safety shower.
VR classes are taught both in the classroom and remotely. But either way, Moore says being in the virtual space helps students stay focused.
I've seen students gain mastery of concepts much quicker than they have in a classroom space where their phone might be going off. So it's really good at making efficient use of time.
Morehouse College is one of 30 digital twin campuses across the U.S. being built by Victory XR with funding from Meta. For Morris, it's been a dream come true.
It restored joy in the education system. When you see student achievement increase by 11.9%, it makes you rethink what your other approaches have been in the past and why did we wait so long to do something this transformative.
Virtual reality is also transforming learning in another field, orthopedic surgery.
Surgical education relies heavily on having hands-on experiences through cadavers or simulators. And currently around the world, those hands-on experiences are becoming less and less accessible.
To help solve this problem, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Goel worked with a team of artists and former game developers to design a virtual reality surgery training program based on real-life procedures.
The advantages of learning in VR is that you can repeat and continue to refine your skills as often as you want to. You can also get data on your performance. And allowing one to make mistakes is how really we learn.
Goel says studies on their software showed users learn more than 5 times faster in VR than traditional methods and made almost 50% less critical errors.
Our software is currently being used in over 55 countries.
They work with humanitarian nonprofit Sign Fracture Care to bring training to doctors in low and middle income countries, like Dr. Precious Clement Kachitsa in Lilongwe, Malawi.
My first impression about using VR Precision was that it's an excellent learning tool because you feel like you're doing the procedure in operating theater. That makes it easier when you go into the operating room to do the same procedure on a live patient.
Pick up the drill from the tray. Pull the trigger and push forward to drill the near cortex through the small drill guide.
So now I'm actually drilling the bone.
Good.
So the main challenge in Africa is that we do not have enough scholarships to go abroad for further studies. And if that can be taught remotely, that can be great, and a lot of people can gain the expertise before they complete their studies. So using the VR headsets increased my confidence in doing the procedures. In case of a mistake, I knew where I had gone wrong and how to correct it.
In the future, Luckin says the real power of virtual reality may come from merging it with other technologies.
If you have an intelligent virtual reality environment, then you can get the best of AI in terms of being able to provide adaptive skills training, and you get the benefits of virtual reality. So thinking about the mix of different sorts of technology can be really powerful.
Next, the company is changing the game when it comes to online learning. Entertaining, explorative, and educational. Game-based learning online is evolving at high speed, according to market research.
Games have the potential to reach a lot of students. So take students who might be disengaged by traditional learning. Then games like Minecraft can be very engaging and can be a really useful tool for helping students to re-engage with learning. So I think they have enormous potential and power.
Game-based learning online uses elements from video games to create a lesson plan that brings the subject to life in new ways. Rewards like points or badges can be used to increase motivation for students. By making the experience interactive, the goal is to improve retention and understanding of the information.
So problem solving, collaborative learning, critical thinking, reasoning, experimentation and iteration, all of those things need an environment that responds to you. In a country like the United States, we see that our curricular standards want our kids to spend more time on those higher order types of learning.
One of the biggest metaverse gaming platforms in the world, Roblox, has turned its attention to this sphere, led by Vice President of Education Rebecca Cantor. They partnered with the Museum of Science in Boston to design a learning game based on a mission to Mars.
Here we have students coming into a Mars environment. They get a sense of what the challenge they're going to be building a rover to address is like. So maybe they're going to be traversing ice, maybe they're going to be traversing a mountainous terrain, and they have to then understand how to design these machines to operate in those conditions. And they're able to then go out into those environments, test what they've built, learn about those wheels weren't quite right, and bring that back and then iterate.
While doing this in class may have real benefits, there are real concerns about young people spending excessive time on screens and in games.
I think lumping all screen time and collapsing it as categorically similar is a mistake, because what you're doing on that screen differs greatly. We also have millions of young people who have become creators. They're not just consuming passively on the platform, they are creating games. They have learned to code, they have learned to engage in digital 3D art. That's positive. It gives young people in particular an immediate sense of agency.
Cantor says the Roblox business model doesn't rely on reselling data, but on making in-platform purchases like clothing for your avatar. With Parsons School of Design in New York, they've created a college course on fashion design for the metaverse, an industry they say is booming.
I think the learning curve is steep, but much more approachable than regular fashion. The things that you can do in digital spaces, like using fabrics like marble or water or grass, is important to think about because you can do so much that isn't normally possible.
We want to move away from this structure of master and apprentice learning models, and it become a sort of more collaborative and supportive or de-hierarchy learning environments for students. And I think gamification, game-like learning is definitely a big part of that process.
Luckin says education itself needs to evolve to ensure students can adapt to a changing world.
So I think we need to be careful that we're helping them to gain the skills that we're not going to be automating away, so that they are future-proofed in the skills that we give them within the curriculum.
For Roblox, the goal is to reach 100 million students by 2030 to help them develop those crucial higher-order thinking skills.
To me, the next frontier of education is deeper learning that's rich, that's engaging, that's interdisciplinary, and that's preparing students for what the rest of their lives will require.
Next, a social emotional robot called Abby,
Let's Party,
shakes up classrooms in Missouri.
Welcome. Which language do you speak?
Robots have been in classrooms for decades. But the idea of them as teachers has never really taken off on a large scale.
The viability of robots as teaching replacements depends on the nature of the robot. The robot will never be able to do all of the things the teacher can do. There might be certain subject areas where having a robot as an assistant could be useful.
At Sunny Point Elementary School in Blue Springs, Missouri, we get a glimpse of what the future could look like for robots in education. Meet Abby.
Let's celebrate you acing that question with a guitar solo.
It plays guitar solos, gives fist bumps, and likes to get down.
It's time for some music.
But this is no dancing toy.
Abby is an AI-enabled robot tutor for the K-5 classroom. It's designed to support in-class learning for math, reading, and social-emotional learning.
Abby's AI software actively monitors a student's attention through the computer's camera to help them remain focused during lessons. It uses that data, along with the student's performance, to adapt its teaching to respond to their abilities and engagement level. When student performance is low, it gives encouragement and offers brain breaks for stretching or breathing exercises to refocus attention.
Read the passage on your screen, then answer this question.
Abby is kind of another set of hands for me as a classroom teacher. I feel like I can't get to everyone when I want to at the same time, so Abby provides students with another touch of instruction, and the kids love working with Abby too, so she's very encouraging.
Let's party.
I love the dance parties because they're really fun.
Abby is the result of a decade of research by Van Robotics founder and CEO Laura Boconfuso and others into how social robots can help learning.
That's the right answer. Let's celebrate you acing that question with a guitar solo.
What we found is that social robotics, which is what Abby is, are remarkably good at accelerating learning for students because they actually help improve learning habits. And that is really foundational to lifelong success.
Boconfuso says staff shortages over the past 2 years have increased the number of schools seeking technology like Abby, but that this is not a step towards robots replacing teachers.
We think about it as a augmentative tool or a supplemental tool for a teacher. The gold standard will always be a good teacher, someone who is trained and someone who is connected with their students. That is not something that we would ever really strive to replace.
But Abby can help teachers collect data on how each student is progressing.
So when I pull up a report from my end on my computer, I can see which students mastered the skill, which students need that extra support.
6, 4, 3.
Boconfuso says Van Robotics made a conscious choice not to use facial recognition or collect video, images, or voice recordings from students.
Every piece of data that Abby collects and upload to the cloud is actually owned by the school district, and the parent ultimately can make the decision to keep that data or delete that data.
Blue Springs School District says that over the past year, schools using Abby have increased their rate of learning growth by 30% compared to those in the previous 2 years.
Being able to socially support and encourage and build confidence is not a small thing. It is really the underpinning of a lot of learning that happens. I think AI and robotics is just scraping the surface of the impact that it can have in student learning, but I think it's going to require an evolution in how we think about student learning in general.
Breathe in. 1, 2, 3.
I think if we get it right, the future of education will be one where there's more human interaction, but the human interaction is supported by a huge range of different technologies. If we get it right, those technologies will be a toolbox that we use in teaching and learning wisely so that we use the right tool for the right job.
You did a good job with those lessons today. Let's focus on new concepts next time.
Whether it's in person, online, or in the metaverse, revolutionary technology is set to take learning to a whole new level by 2050. I'm Rahel Solomon, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Next Frontier.